Do not take mechanic car automobile fixings from me. I will probably put windshield wiper fluid into your oil canister. Is it even an oil canister? Is windshield wiper fluid even a thing? Hailey Bieber shared some skincare tips that don't make sense. I have been trying to get my hands on some Rhode Beauty products for quite some time now, but because it's always sold out, I have been unable to. And a lot of people who are actually using the skincare line are saying that it's difficult to keep up with a routine because the products are unavailable. Well, that could be bad supply and demand, or it could be an artificial sense of scarcity, which is leading to more sales. But either way, I am here Rhode Beautyless, looking at everything from the outside. And one thing that was posted recently was number one, that I guess Rhode Beauty's lip products are giving people like lip infections or allergies, but that might not be substantiated, and that's definitely a video for another day. But there are a lot of interviews and skincare routines and tips happening, 3 of which were shared on GMA. And while these are solid tips, there are some things that are a little bit questionable, and Hailey Bieber actually contradicts her own skincare line by some of the things she says. Now let's actually break this down. Let's be critical and skeptical. I'm actually going to try my best to remove all of my feelings and opinions as Hailey Bieber as a person and as a businesswoman. We're going to talk about some of those spicy thoughts a little bit later, but for now, let's talk strictly about the tips she provides and why that is contradicting the products that Rhode Beauty is creating, or potentially supporting some of the products that Rhode Beauty is creating and pushing. It's all very interesting. Let's let Hailey Bieber speak for herself.
Good morning, America. It's Hailey Bieber, and I decided to launch a skincare brand because I am absolutely skincare routine obsessed. And as I've developed my beauty philosophy over the last few years, I just really wanted to create a curated line of essentials for everyone. Tip number 1 would be don't over exfoliate.
Tip number 1 is don't over exfoliate, and this is excellent advice because if you over exfoliate, your skin doesn't have time to rebuild and it can lead to barrier damage and irritation. But if you look at Hailey Bieber's skincare products, they literally have glycolic and lactic acid in them. These acids are known as AHAs, alpha hydroxy acids, and yes, they are exfoliating. They have very, very, very small molecules that penetrate deep into the skin, and they actually break down skin cells and desmosomes. You can think of desmosomes as like the little nails that hold skin cells together. But if Hailey Bieber is saying don't over exfoliate, the product that she's promoting and that she supposedly uses every day is literally doing just that. This doesn't make a ton of sense. And this also is why knowing your ingredients is so important. Knowing how those active ingredients work and turning and learning those labels is essential. Because if you look at a product that is just labeled as gentle, you might think that it's safe enough to use every day or multiple times a day. But if you turn it around, the ingredients don't always tell the same story. Maybe there's fragrances. Maybe there's ingredients that you're specifically allergic to or irritated by. Maybe there are exfoliants like glycolic, lactic, or even salicylic acids. And this is unfortunately the issue in the cosmetics and the cosmeceutical world. You know, with drug manufacturing, drugs have an active ingredients, drug facts that are listed on the back of the product. Anything over the counter, there should be rules and regulations, and there is the INCI, the International Nomenclature of Cosmetic Ingredients, that kind of guides this. But there are some brands that unfortunately get away with putting things on the front that don't match the back, which is why I say it's so important to turn and learn. Now here's the catch. I don't actually know how these Rhode Beauty products were created. We don't actually know at what percentage the glycolic and lactic acids are in this product. You know, glycolic and lactic acids are just that, they're acids. So sometimes cosmetic manufacturers and chemists put acids into a product to change the pH, to make it more suitable for skin. And this is also what's so hard about turning and learning your ingredients, is that when just looking at this, we can't tell if the amount of acids in there are high enough that it actually causes exfoliation to the skin and shouldn't be used every day, or if it's only to adjust the pH levels. Still, what Hailey Bieber is saying about don't over exfoliate is a great rule and a great tip in general, but it's just a little bit contradictory when we look at the product and then how people have said the product works and makes them feel, especially because part of this glazed donut skin is literally exfoliation and then hydration and kind of that glazing over. Now again, all of the products are sold out, so until I can get them in my grubby little raccoon paws, I can't stick a litmus strip. I can't basically pH test them on my own. But when I get them, you best believe I will. And I'm very curious to see if this product specifically matches the pH of skin at around a 5.5, or if it's much more acidic, something in a low 5, a 4, or even a 3, which would actually show that this product is quite acidic and much more like an acid or a chemical exfoliant rather than a moisturizer. So we won't know until I get my hands on it, but I am on the email list. I am waiting very patiently. Am I being patient? Maybe I'm not. I am being patient. I'm just complaining the whole way through.
Tip number 2 would be make sure to always hydrate.
Always hydrate. This is good advice, making sure that your skin is hydrated, but this is also where we get into the technicality of things. Hydration is different than moisturization. We've done videos on this before, but if you think about it, the word hydrate has the prefix hydro, relating to water. So anything hydrating actually needs to bring water into the skin. Think of things like humectants. Whereas moisturizing is different. Moisturizing is actually sealing in moisture, sealing in the hydration to the skin. Now, when we think of cosmetic chemistry and products, many moisturizers are usually hydrating, but not always, because hydrators are different than moisturizers unless they are specifically combined. Now, while Hailey Bieber says this, the imagery that's shown on screen is of her applying her lip balm or her lip product. I don't know if she was actually speaking about skin in general and if it was the editors that placed in the lip product or not, but when we actually look at the lip product, it doesn't seem like the most hydrating lip product out there. This peptide lip treatment has a first ingredient of hydrogenated polyisobutane. This is a great ingredient and it's often used in different body products and lip products, but it's basically like a liquid oil, and it's meant more for skin conditioning as an emollient versus a hydrator the way we would see glycerin or hyaluronic acid in a product. Now, this is very interesting because it looks like a really good lip formula, but this really gets into the nuance of cosmetic chemistry and terminology of technically hydrators are different than moisturizers. And when Hailey Bieber says hydrate, are these products really doing the best job at that? Now, when we look deeper into the ingredient list, it does have peptides. Peptides can hold on to water, act as humectants, and bring them into the skin, but our lips, specifically the epithelial cells here, are different than the skin cells on the rest of our face. There is shea butter in this lip product as well. They are claiming that that is hydrating, but I would argue that this is more of a lip moisturizer than a lip hydrator based on the ingredients. So again, looks like a good product. I would spend my money on it, and I plan to, whenever I can get my hands on it. But the nuance of communicating this in a scientifically accurate way might not be happening here. And when Hailey Bieber is speaking about skincare tips in general, again, this is generally a great one. But there are nuances in cosmetic chemistry that we don't speak about every day. But when you get down into the nitty-gritty of it, just kind of makes this all confusing. Now, the last tip that Hailey Bieber shares is one that I think she gets right, but almost every other celebrity gets wrong.
Tip number 3 would be less is more.
Back before Hailey Bieber launched Rhode Beauty, she did a video on YouTube where she had 6 steps, and none of them were her own skincare line. Now, when you look at some of her recent videos, she still has about 6 steps. There are some articles that show that she adds things on when needed. For instance, if she has a breakout, she uses the little star face pimple patches. But overall, this is great advice that I think she's following. And this is my personal opinion as someone who has struggled with acne for all of my life, who's a medical esthetician, and I try to create education and edutainment here on YouTube to help other people learn and embrace their skin conditions, as well as understand what products will work for them. But I personally believe that what's more important than the number of steps in your routine is actually isolating your variables and switching them out slowly. For example, you could have 3 steps in your routine, or you could have 30 if you want to be like Shay Mitchell. But if you don't know which of these products is creating a change in your skin, then it doesn't matter. If you have an allergic reaction and you don't know which one's breaking you out, you're not going to be having a good time whether it's 3 or 30. Just like these people who are saying that Hailey Bieber's lip product absolutely destroyed their face. Are they just using this one product? Did they isolate their variable, or did they mix it with 5 other things? Did they try 3 new things this week alone? And maybe that's leading to irritation or an allergic outbreak. If you really want to get the most out of your routine, switching those things out slowly is going to give you the best chance to know what is creating a positive or negative result in your skin. Now, with Hailey's advice of less is more, I really love that. Whether we're talking about the number of products in your routine or even the amount that's being used. I am also guilty of slathering way too much product in my hand and throwing it on my face. Sometimes that works, and sometimes it pills up and gets gunky. But overall, this is solid advice that I actually think she practices in her day-to-day routine. Even when you look at the Rhode Beauty website, they're even recommending that you use your own cleanser and your own SPF, and they're recommending like a 5-6 step routine, which is very manageable. They are saying that their cleanser is coming soon, which again, I hope won't be sold out, not only for my own face, but so that other people can keep their routines consistent if they've purchased one. You know, you gotta stick with it in order to see whether or not it's working. But overall, the less is more idea is really good, and we usually see a lot of other celebrities just going in the complete opposite direction. This is why separating the person from the products or the person from the tips is so important. This entire GMA piece started with Hailey Bieber saying that the reasons she created a skincare line was because she loves skincare routines so much. Just because a celebrity loves something doesn't mean that they're an expert in it, doesn't mean that they're qualified to share it. And just because Hailey Bieber is beautiful and talented and creates amazing things that I as well am really becoming a fan of, that doesn't mean that I should blindly follow her advice and use whatever she's using because it might not be right for me. just the way you might really love this YouTube channel or my social media because of skincare advice. Do not take mechanic car automobile fixings from me. I will probably put windshield wiper fluid into your oil canister. Is it even an oil canister? Is windshield wiper fluid even a thing? Don't take mechanical car advice from me.
Let's take a look under the hood.
Same thing goes for Hailey Bieber. As I've been learning more and more about her, I really didn't know and still don't really know who she is. But as I see her more and more online, she seems to be authentic. She seems to be kind of quirky, kind of funny. And I feel like I can really connect with her even though it's only through a screen. But just because of that affinity bias, meaning that she and I have an affinity, we have something in common, that doesn't mean that I should automatically take everything she says as gospel or believe every word she says. And when we see a lot of celebrities right now pushing out skincare lines, just like Jennifer Lopez, just like the Kardashians, you can love them for their beauty, for their talent, for their expertise, for their acting, for their singing, for their, what do the Kardashians do? Posting reality TV online.
Nude selfies till I die.
But that doesn't mean that you should be blindly accepting all of their advice all the time. When taking advice from celebrities or anybody, be skeptical. You are not meant to be an expert in everything. You can't. And in the words of Bo Burnham, we may be interested in everything all of the time, but that doesn't mean that it's actually possible. And that's why it is so important to find qualified, trustworthy people that can kind of filter these things out for you. But I think it is so important to look at these things skeptically because I imagine myself as like a young 14, 15-year-old looking up to people like Hailey Bieber, thinking that she's beautiful and talented, and spending all of my money on a product, not realizing that she's saying not to over exfoliate, but the products may be directly over exfoliating the skin. Be a critic, be a skeptic, and always stay hydrated, both orally and topically. That's something that she and I agree on. Do remember to reapply your SPF, which again, if GMA was asking me for my top 3 tips, that would absolutely be one of them. And always be beautiful inside and out. I think you know what that one means. I love you, and I cannot wait to hear about your thoughts in the comments, as well as see you in this next video, and maybe someday a video about me actually testing Hailey Bieber's Road Beauty, if I can get my hands on it. Patience is a virtue. All right. Love you guys. Bye.